we can really provide. Of course, the pandemic has affected the costs of playground equipment and building costs, which I'm sure that you're aware of. So we have made some adjustments to our budget. Since the last meeting in October that I attended, we've applied for a few more grants, we've received some more funding, and we are requesting that $300,000 to get us to the finish line so that we can build this playground and break ground the spring of 2022. So I'm going to invite some people to introduce yourself and talk a little bit about what this playground might mean to them.
So my name is Katie Schlosser. I'm a pediatric physical therapist in Dickinson. My friend here, Jerome, said no thanks when I asked him if he wanted to say anything. But when it's just him and I talking, he has told me about how excited he would be to have a park like this in Dickinson. A lot of the parks available through his previous years of life did not have equipment that was able for him to climb on. He has made me a list of things he wants to see at this park so that he can play, like kids his age should be able to play.
I only told you one thing.
Only one?
Yes.
Okay, we'll have to think of 3 more.
What's your favorite thing to do on a playground, Jerome?
Climb.
So Sarah kind of said it, but 1 in 5 kids have a special need of some kind. So maybe that's not a mobility need that would need pediatric physical therapy, but 1 in 5 is a large percentage of kids that need a park that has those accommodations. Luckily, neither of my 2 children have special needs to where they need an accommodated park, but to be able to grow up in a world where they could be at a park and see the things that everyone can do instead of a park that doesn't allow some of their friends to play at because there's nowhere for them to go. So I think our community needs to be able to support that.
So I emailed Karen this just little 1-pager just to remind you of the need, but and by the sound of it, if this is a part of your discussion later in December, we would very much appreciate your consideration and support.
Okay.
What other grants did you apply for that did come in?
So we don't have the funding yet. They're just applications that we've submitted.
Oh, okay. But they are yeses, or you just don't know yet
We
what
don't
they
know
are?
yet. They're being reviewed.
Okay. So when do you think you'll have an answer on them? Do you know?
I believe by the end of January was the deadline.
Okay.
Any other questions or comments?
Just another reminder and point of clarity, we also have already established an endowment for any repairs that might be needed to equipment, so that pressure is not totally on Dickinson Parks and Rec for continued maintenance if there's a need. Our dream is that endowment would grow so that it's not just one playground that a child with disabilities could play on. It would be playgrounds all over Dickinson and the surrounding communities to welcome all kids to play together. But this is our start.
Okay.
Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Jerome, for coming in and telling us what you need, right?
Yes. Just a quick question for Mr. Kramer. I don't know if it was yours and I's previous discussion, but your comment, or I think might have came from you, was about the usage of this park. It might be the most used park in our community if it came to fruition. Can you expound on that a little bit?
Yeah. Again, we started working with Sarah and her committee 4 years ago. And I'll be very honest with you, it was eye-opening for me because if you go around and look at our 30 neighborhood parks right now, every one of them meet handicap accessibility. Not one of them is truly accessible for kids with special needs. And when we started talking about this park, like I said, it was extremely eye-opening. And anytime you drive to Bismarck and you look at that park over in Mandan on the right side, you see kids always, in that park. And I envision this being, the way it's going to be designed, it is going to be a destination park. It's not going to be a neighborhood park where people, potentially walk to it. It's going to have parking lot, bathroom, and it will be designed to, for people to call it a destination park. And I think Sarah hit it right on the head. The thing to keep in mind is this park is to unify children with special needs and without special needs. And that is truly the statement to kind of key in on. She did talk a little bit about the funding, and I'll just touch on it real quick. The Park District did give them the 6 acres and $200,000. The city put in $250,000. We used that $450,000 to match a federal grant, land and water grant of $450,000. And that is accepted, that is waiting to be spent, that $450,000. So what we did with Sarah and her committee is basically task them to go raise $600,000 to $700,000. And they've been doing just a fantastic job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions or comments? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I do have just one for Mr. Kramer. You can answer from there if you want, but maintenance is gonna be done by you guys and cleaning and maintaining the special equipment and stuff?
Okay, thanks. Then we'll be discussing this in our special meeting then for that. Okay, next we'll move to our Stark County Spirit of Excellence Award. Julie?
Morning, Commissioners. My name is Julie Obergewich. So on the 16th of November, we had a very special evening planned for a very special person. Our October 2021 recipient for the Stark County Spirit of Excellence Award was awarded to Art Warner, an extremely, extremely deserving individual here from Dickinson, a veteran, might I add. And it was just a really nice day. We have a video here. If you saw the one online, it was quite long because I'm not going to lie, we had about 100 people and many people spoke, and I see the video will play. So we'll share the shorter version, which is only 6 minutes compared to the 16 minutes video that it ended up being earlier. So we'll just share that video right now then. Everyone here is here for one person because this person has made a significant influence and impact in their lives. Art, we are here for you tonight.
When I heard about this new Spirit of Excellence Award, Art's name came to my mind right away. Art is a charter member and vice president of the Stark County Veterans Memorial Association, overseeing the planning, fundraising, and completion of the memorial. Art is the leader of American Legion Post 3 Honor Guard, thus performing military rites at veterans' funerals. He supervises the Legion's food pantry for local veterans in need. Art has nominated veterans for North Dakota Honor Flags to Washington, D.C. He is actively involved in recognizing our veterans for the Quilts of Valor program in Southwest North Dakota. Art also belongs to other veteran organizations as well as church and civic organizations. He is a soft-spoken, kind, and humble man. Art Warner deserves recognition in this great program.
And when I think of Art Warner, Soldier for Life comes to mind. talking about a lifetime of service. I'm guessing he was a patriotic man in 1965 when he joined, but his service did not end in 1996 when he retired. Trust me, whether it's building a memorial or representing the veterans in Stark County, Art is tenacious. You really are, you set the example for all of us. But I'd like to give you my current commander's coin to add my congratulations to this honor tonight.
I think I've already identified a problem. We got a bunch of liars in this room. You never asked me. If you would permit me to share a little story. Because I think that's where this started. A little over 20 years ago, I lost my wife when she was hit by a drunk driver. And I sat alone several nights wondering how I was going to go on. It was a very dark time. I remember one night in particular, I said, Lord, I'm kind of stuck here. You've got to help me get my life back on track. I remembered very distinctly from that time on the support that I received from the community and how much it meant to me that people cared. And I kind of made a vow at that time, Lord, if you help me get my life back on track, I'm gonna spend the rest of my life basically trying to repay that kindness back to the community. That's where it started. Well, looking back now, the Lord did help me get started. First thing he did was he gave me another good person in my life. Sharp and a wonderful addition to my life. Has made quite a difference. He gave me good health. That's allowed me to do some things that a lot of people aren't able to do. And he put me in situations where all I had to do was accept the challenge. That's why I'm here today. I've tried to pay back. I thought I was getting close, but this tonight, all I did was set the goalposts further. So I've got a whole lot more to do. So that's the problem here. Thank you.
It's because of people like Art that this award even exists.
Art is here today, so at this time I'd like to ask him to come forward.
Thank you. You know, this is a special program, and I really compliment Julie for instituting this. The one thing that became so apparent to me in the past few weeks is the fact that our community is lacking the publicity to publicize what we do here. It is since the paper is gone, I can't tell you the number of people that have called and said, geez, I wished I could have been there. I wished I'd known about it. That's 2 weeks after the fact. They still don't know about it. We really need to be aware of anything that we do to publicize the good things our community is doing. That's what community spirit is to me. That's what this award is about. That's what makes our community. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Like I said, it was a really special day, having Major General Alan Dorman in attendance to present the award to Art. Art is a retired military man of 32 years with the military, and it was one of the greatest honors that I will ever have in my lifetime to do something like that for Art. And I just can't stress the fact enough of how much we need to thank veterans. It really is so important. We have the next deadline for our Stark County Spirit of Excellence Award. It will be on December 15th. As a reminder, it is that nomination categories include leadership, customer service, innovation, stewardship, and also Good Samaritan, random acts of kindness. Art was selected amongst the mayors through a blind process, again, amongst 34 submitted nominations. So it's, like I said, it was a beautiful day, and it couldn't have went to a more deserving individual. So I thank you for letting me come forward and sharing that video, and also just spreading the word about the award. And also I thank Art for showing up today too. It was really special to have him here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Art, for all you do for that. And brought back some memories of that night when you talked about the loss and how you moved forward with that. It was, you moved forward from a tragedy like that. I was there that night too. Yeah. Okay, thank you. Okay, next we'll take a 15-minute break. meeting. I believe we have some visitors today. Do we have a instructor that wants to tell us anything about her? I said we have some visitors here. I guess you wanted to introduce them.
Yeah, we have a class called Careers in Government.
Could you go up to the mic so we have an?
This is our Careers in Government class at Dickinson High School. We started this a couple years ago. They get their government credit, but they have to do a lot of work outside to do the curriculum. But we go around and study different careers in government that are outside of politics. So we've been out with the sheriffs and had corrections come in. We've done all the city departments, the county departments, wastewater, all those types of things, just trying to DOT, stuff like that, to get them exposed to different careers that are out there that are like public service that aren't political in a sense. So they're here to just kind of take in and see what this part of the commission and stuff's all about.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Welcome.
Welcome.
Okay. Next, we'll go to Abel, Mary Anderson. Morning.
Commissioners, I think the last time I saw you was in September. And if you'll notice, the project I'm back with, I said I'll probably be here in the next 80 years, talking about the mall. And, but if you have seen since September, there's been some changes. That is looking really good. If you go to the north side, you'll see that the windows and doors are being changed out. And boy, it's popping now. So it's got some nice personality coming. But I'm back to say that I had a laundry list for you last time that I was here, like, okay, we need this and this and this. But knowing that there's so many projects out there, we whittled down to our highest priorities. And certainly we thank you so much for honoring us with the dollars to help us finish those community bathrooms out. I'm here to tell you, they started yesterday on the community bathroom. So that north side is really dedicated to our community to be able to help with bathing situations. So I hope to come back, not with a request, but with just to show you. But I might have a request too, just preparing. But anyway, I'm back now to talk a little bit about what else we need, which is, if you have a picture in front of you, it is this flooring that we had. Our number one priority when we got started and purchased this mall, this was an attractive spot for us because, well, not the floor, but this space where this floor exists is about 9,200 square feet. And that offers us a lot of potential in that building. So one of the reasons, again, we wanted to get this is for this particular space. But we knew that we needed to take care of our community first, which was the presentation of that building. It is a corridor building, so that whole facade went to the top of the list. And then we didn't take care of what was in the inside, which is really why we're back to help ourselves out with this project. And so we've accomplished, I think, getting on that facade, and now we're back on the inside trying to make things work. So as we have progressed along, when we started this project, prices, I'm sure you've heard this, have increased drastically. So roofing costs, we had delays in roofing. TEWS is going to install that yet when it comes. So they tried to get everything done when the weather was nice, and they're going to be installing this in the cold. So wish them luck. This will be something. Again, we've got the windows and doors started, but the exterior is coming to a close, which is really exciting. So we're glad for that. But COVID, and I know we have relief funds for COVID. That's why I'm here. I thought maybe you needed some help with spending those. So I've come back over and over because, you might need us. But COVID prices are why we are here. And so wanted to just tell you some of those costs that were overrun. Triple the prices for steel. So that meant our roof went from $179,000 to $309,000 for costs. The lumber prices doubled. This is probably not surprising to you. So our niche siding went from $11,500 to $44,000. The stone and frames, again, lumber to $224,000 went, again, just everything doubled. So our costs overruns due to COVID is about $300,000. So that's kind of where we're sitting right now, is just lots of costs with that. The flooring, as you see the picture, is, and by the way, when you need to have submission, I've got this papered out so we can get this into your packets for if we're so lucky to be selected. But on the flooring, if you'll see, we've got a twofold rationale for that floor, and I've got the notes attached to your packets. But one of the things is that this floor, the reason for this whole project is to employ people with disabilities. And we're so committed to that this is, again, why we made this purchase. We have people who can do thrift store work, who can get around and tag things and process and clean things, and this is why this project is so important to us. So the whole thing is about employment, but we can't get into 9,200 square feet because of this floor. It's too dangerous. So not only do we have holes in it, we have a lot of nails and we have a lot of uncomfortable things. So we really don't let many people in. We let the contractors in, but beyond that, we say stay out of this 9,000 square foot space. So it really limits people's employment potential. But an additional thing that really has us concerned, and this is just, you hear this in our community. I know there are people trying to work on this issue, but staffing shortages are just hurting everybody. But when you're trying to take care of business 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on holidays and overnights, we're in a critical phase. We just can't get the employees. So when we're spread out, we have 4 staff or 50% of our staff down on a day program because of COVID, because of sickness, because of trying to honor somebody's vacation. We're scrambling. So if this floor gets completed, we're planning to move that thrift store up, and then we can shuffle staff around a little easier with that versus we're down here and they're here. And so that staffing shortages is another critical need of ours for why we would want to get this thing going and get our consolidation. Sometimes you need to know about participation from others because, again, you got to look to see how can these things get funded and where are these other things coming in. So I put down, we've been working on grants. We have that facade grant, that CDBG. We have a couple of those, and the CBDG comes in. That's that community block development grant comes in for accessibility. And so we keep going back to that well because this building has a lot of needs for accessibility. There is no automatic door openers on this building after all these years. So we're trying to get automatic door openers put in, sliding doors or doors that open and close well. So that's been a really good grant for us. Stark County helped us. Thank you. The REAP grant is still in the mix, and that is for energy improvements. We've been out seeking donors. Again, if you look, there's a good place for a naming opportunity on this mall. So anybody know of somebody that wants to contribute and put a naming opportunity, we have that. City of Dickinson will be helping us by paving that 11th Street, which is a dead-end road right now, but they are committed to trying to get that in concrete, so that's going to help us out a lot. And we continue to look for opportunities for funding in the future. We do pay property taxes. We do pay income taxes if there's any profits, which we don't have many, but that is our commitment. So if we can't get this funded, we just keep taking thrift store dollars, putting it back in, but that takes a while. And we take any dollars that we get off of rent and put it back into this mall. So this is just a money pit, if you will, for our community, but it's a good project. It eventually might work out of the money pit status someday. But that's why I'm here. I thank you so much. I was sandwiched a little bit with Art Warner. And if that wasn't a beautiful moment, I was there. I had the opportunity to speak on behalf of Art because he's been a board member of ours for many years. And so what a beautiful, I'm so glad I was able to get here. I was able to see Friendship Park come, and I don't know how you were ever going to turn down this little boy that I saw in the hall. I don't think that's possible. You poor things. You have a lot of decisions to make. And I thought Dickinson High was here for CTE, but they're just here watching me. Thank you. Did I do good? Yeah. Oh, yeah, you're going to be doing this someday. We got lots to talk about. But that's what I have for the day. I thank you. I hope I'm open for questions, but I know you've got to move this along, so maybe I was able to give you enough information.
Anybody have any questions or comments?
Just one real quick, just from an update, from a timetable, what are you looking at on like the parking lot? And I know the roof and the front, you give the update.
Yeah, very specifically to be done with like as much as we can get done, December 17th, 2022. Okay. And the reason for that is there's a new market tax credit that we're working very, very hard on that'll really help us out a lot. Their deadline to be able to put a lot of structure into that is December 17th, 2022. And that's the whole project, Neil, but on the floor, it'd be nice to get done sooner this summer, actually, because maybe we can get moving. Rather than moving the thrift store in the middle of 40 below, we'd really like to move it, you know, maybe not 100 degrees, but somewhere in the warm weather.
So that's on the floor that, the 140?
Yes, yes, yes. You'll see also when I give you the cost breakdown from of what those overages were, because I know these are COVID-related funds, so I've got the cost breakdown of overages. We have some surprises. So city water and sewer was a surprise. We said we got to take care of that stuff that's underground. I think I shared that with you guys last time. That was a surprise. Yesterday's surprise or last week's surprise was, we've got to do some abatement work on that floor. So, you know, we got discoveries as we go that are surprises. So.
Okay. And we have a special meeting on the 14th, and we'll have to make some big decisions then, so.
Thank you.
Thanks
And
for your presentation.
if you guys have questions, want to come see, you know, feel free to reach out to me.
Okay.
Thank you for your time. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you. Okay, next we move on to the Dickinson Town Square project. Christy Schwartz,
Good morning,
morning.
Chairman, Commissioners. Thank you very much for your time today. Our project started probably about 5.5 years ago. The city of Dickinson did a downtown plan previously, which included the town square as part of that plan. The city engaged JLG Architects to create marketable drawings for the town square. They also engaged the public in public input meetings so that we made sure that our project included everything that our county and our community wanted in this town square project. We are at a point now that the project is moving forward. It's went to bid and been awarded through the city, and in fact broke ground this last week. So it was great to see that. The project is due to be completed by September of 2022. The total project costs for this are approximately $5.5 million, which includes the ice skating rink. We are tasked with raising $3 million in private funds. We have so far raised, with pledges and donations so far, $1,652,000. And so we're well past our halfway mark, which is exciting for us, since we just started just a few months ago with our capital campaign. Part of the project includes, as I mentioned, a lot of things that our community was asking for. And I'm going to let Abby, our executive director, tell you a little bit about some of the programming that will happen in our town square for the people in our surrounding and area communities.
Good morning. So we are excited about this project. I don't think anytime I see this photo come up of Town Square, I don't have that excited feeling about it. One thing that I absolutely love about this project is I've been working very closely with about 5 other town squares across the Midwest, working with their teams, their executive directors, and how they make theirs function and what it does to benefit their community. So things that I've definitely been learning is it has the biggest sense of civic pride more than any other project that most of these cities or smaller communities have found for it. Having somewhere that, to me, the vision for our town square is going to be the family room of our community. There will always be something going on. I would like to say I have the fun job of working and getting to do the programming. Fun. It is fun, but it is a lot of work to make sure that the programming gets done correctly. So I've been working with the city to make sure that we have a plan that works long-term for that programming. When we have asked people in the community things that they want to see, something that we're always going to have going on. So we will have a movie screen in the town square. So we'll have family movie nights downtown. There will be a farmer's market on the weekends down there that's open to all agriculture across the community. It's not going to be a set entity. Or a club or a group of farmers that can only come in at certain times or, so many times per year. It'll be on a regular basis. If they have good crop, they'll be able to come downtown and sell their things. Working with, of course, food trucks. That's the biggest craze is everybody likes a food truck in downtown and live music. So on a regular basis, working with local musicians, that it won't necessarily have to be a big grand event that goes on, but we can showcase the talent that we have here in our community through local schools, through the college, through Trinity, through the high school, elementary schools, working with dance clubs that they can have performances here. As you can see, there is a stage in the town square, so we utilize that as much as possible. In the corner there, the vision you can see there, that is the pavilion. This will be not fully enclosed. It will have gas heaters inside of it. And then as you can see the glass on the corner of those are actually accessible to either open it up more or close it up more. So if we have big events, we can open it up more for traffic coming through there. People can also rent that out as a private entity. So this isn't the best vision for it, but there's also a splash pad here in Town Square. And then there is a park right there that is dinosaur themed. So the molds that were made from this are similar to real dinosaur fossils. So we're really trying to capture what our community has in the whole park of what our area gives out, especially with the Dickinson Museum getting our new T-Rex. That's really exciting. This ties into our museum here in town. So, of course, the play equipment looks like things kids shouldn't play on, so they will play on it, which is the idea of it, which will be great. Having that pavilion there that people can rent it out for personal parties. The entire square will be able to be rented out also. So if someone wants to do a big work event or a wedding, those things will be accessible to have in the town square also. There are 3 bathrooms here. So one is a family bathroom, and then there's also the men's and women's bathroom, also with multiple stalls. So having a community bathroom downtown will be great. It's something that we don't have right now other than people going into local businesses. So having something on a regular basis going on here. The grass there is actually AstroTurf. So you'll always have that beautification look of the landscaping throughout the entire town square. Across the street, it has been confirmed a restaurant is going in, so that adds more eating and drinking downtown, especially right by the town square. That back alley there, I've been looking into different grants that we can do to add LED lighting to liven up that alleyway. That way it does go to these other stores, the other bars that are downtown, to make it more walkable. That creates that better function for all the businesses downtown. I think with the sports complex that we do have coming into town, with the CTE school, there's so many different outside entities that are going on that we all benefit each other. So you have people coming into the sports complex, and we host tournaments here in our community. Well, those are families coming from bigger cities that want to see these types of things when they're traveling to our town. So we're going to see increase in hotels. We're going to see increase of people eating in restaurants due to that sports complex. But those people are also then going to want to come downtown to a facility like this to be able to go shopping and see what's going on, listen to live bands, art in the park night. I could, of course, continue, but I guess you get the idea of what our programming is going to look like. 200 plus days a year, this town square will be programmed with something going on in it. I've been working very closely with all of our other entities in town, Parks and Rec and the Prairie Hills Mall and the Chamber of Commerce. I'm a director on one of the committees there at the Chamber, and working very closely with all of them to see how we all work together to make sure that there is something going on in this town square that is inclusive to every group that we have in our community of every single age. There's not one demographic that this town square won't hit. So it is a project that benefits every single person and every single age. That we have in Dickinson. It is something that will promote us for the longevity of people coming here and staying here. You look at the workforce of places that anyone that moves in from out of town with their wives and their kids, they end up leaving because there aren't things to do. They're leaving because they don't have things like this in our community at this point for them to want to stay. This is going to keep people here. This is going to bring people in. It's going to increase our jobs of people wanting to stay here and work here because of the lifestyle we create. I always say in my position, my job isn't to promote a business or a restaurant or a bar. It's to create a lifestyle for our community. And I'm really excited to do that with this project. So thank you for your time. And we're, just a little bit excited about this. So thank you.
Thank you, Abby. Our ask for the project from the Stark County Commission is a $375 ask that you can give over multiple years if needed. And by doing that, you would be able to name the pavilion in the corner. And I provided you with a picture of what that might look like, the Stark County Community Pavilion, so that it's there with your name on it, showing how you support, your county and your community. Anybody have any questions?
Any questions or comments?
Just one quick one, Christy. Who's doing the repairs and maintenance on this facility? And, you know, I see you have open restrooms, 24/7 and potential for, fire pits running out. Who's controlling that? Is it the Downtown Association, and how's that all worked out?
No, it will all be coordinated through the city of Dickinson and also with the help of Park and Rec. They're talking together now to come up with a plan that will entail all of the maintenance of the square.
Okay, thank you.
So,
We are also raising money for an endowment that will help us in the future, especially with the added costs for the ice skating rink.
so what is the operating budget then, roughly for a year? What do you have planned for a year or 5 years as far as operating budgets to keep this going?
That hasn't been costed out yet.
Okay, so.
The city
gas-
of Dickinson is talking with us about that and what that's going to be costing.
So if somebody wants to rent it, you have a price figured out for that? Or
We don't, no.
what about gas and electricity that's paid by the city?
Yes.
All right, and what else did I have here? Yeah, being a downtown business person, I really don't know anything about this project, so.
Okay.
I need to ask some questions about
That's
this.
okay. That's
you
no
know,
problem.
I mean, it's gonna be run as a business, I take it, or, I mean,
So
where's the money gonna come from to keep it running? Is the city gonna be
the city of
gonna be
Dickinson
running
owns,
it, or where's the money be coming at to keep this place going?
the city of Dickinson owns the project, and it is their responsibility for the expenses and utilities and all of those things. With the exception of the added cost of electricity for the ice skating rink. That is something that's why we are doing the endowment, to be able to help pay for that. But they are the ones that are taking on the costs of the town square. It's right beside the city of Dickinson's new building, new town, or city hall. And so some of the costs are just being coordinated with that whole project, as
And
far as expenses go.
Like the park that we have now, the city's in charge of that, keeping that clean, or who's in charge of keeping the one that's clean that's down there now? Because, I mean,
The one by,
people walk their dogs in it all the time, and it's really not maintained. And so I worry about
Yeah.
that carrying forward to here as far as the way this one's gonna be taken care of.
I know what you're talking about, Bernie, and I agree with you that is definitely a problem. I know James Kramer and his crew have maintenance of that park by the Brick House, and they have been struggling a lot with
I mean,
trying
there's doggy
to,
bags there for people to clean up, and nobody takes the time to do it.
well, it is, and it's, other than policing it 24 hours a day, it's going to be a very difficult thing to fix the problem with the dog
And I don't think people are gonna be walking their dogs through here, but.
project.
I
Yeah,
mean, it
this
still
won't be a
is
dog
still-
park
still
per
the
se.
maintenance and keeping it clean and sightly for visitors or whatever.
I will tell you that it's certainly something that, as we move forward into the future, our Downtown Improvement District is a 501c3 organization, which can take donations well into the future. And, I foresee that being one of our future projects because it is something that needs to be addressed, and beautification of that area is certainly of concern. I will assure you that you will not find dog feces
Well,
in
not
this
one, I
new
don't think
park.
it will, but yeah.
Abby won't let that happen.
I think Abby will do a great job. I'm sure she'll be in charge of events and everything else, and she's very energetic.
Yes.
So we're gonna have cat trees in there then, right?
So the promotions, the concerts, the people getting in the door with the food trucks, with rent, then all that money will go to where just to keep up with maintenance?
So we're still working out our contract with the city as far as the Downtown Association being the programming factor for all of that. I would imagine that a lot of that will just go right back into both upcoming events as well as maintenance of the town square.
Okay.
So as far as your what million do you have to come up with? Three point?
We are raising $3 million in capital and $2 million
Construction
in
is going
endowment.
forward regardless if you raise that or not?
Yes, it is. The city is front-loading the dollars. And we pay them back.
And
the
you already
amount that we're
raised
raising.
1.6, right?
1.65.
Yep.
Yeah.
Any other questions or comments? Okay.
Thank you very much for your
Thank
time.
you.
Well, thanks for the
Commissioner Raymond.
presentation. We'll be meeting on the 14th to discuss some of these things, so, okay, thank you. That's up to you if you want to be there again.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have a Dickinson building permit contract that was signed almost a year ago, I guess, and we wanted, any discussion on that? We want to renew that at this time, or?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
so yeah, we initiated that contract in February. It was a contract that I believe expired at year's end. I was looking for the date in here and not a one-year contract. Having been involved in that, I would say the vast majority has been positive. And unless I hear something otherwise, I would make a recommendation that we extend that contract for one more year.
And that was the, what's that? That was 70/30? That was 70/30?
Right.
Yes,
Yes.
I believe so.
Okay, I have a motion then to renew the building inspection services contract or agreement with the City of Dickinson. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I have a second. Any other discussion? Roll call vote then. Commissioner Messer?
Aye.
Commissioner Marsh?
Aye.
Commissioner Arthod?
Aye, with some discussion. Or no, I should have discussed it earlier. Never mind. Too late for discussion. Never mind.
Commissioner Zander?
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion carries. Did you have some other comment or?
I'll just talk, I can talk to
Okay.
Commissioner Messer.
Okay. Next, then we'll go into planning and zoning. Mr. Josephson?
Good morning, Commissioner. Steve Josephson, County Planner.
Morning.
County Planner. Good morning. On December 2nd, 2021, the Stark County Planning and Zoning Commission held a Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. There were three public hearings. The first one was a public hearing for conditional use permit 0421. Jocelyn Yonner requested a conditional use permit to allow for a home occupation for a self-employed massage therapy practice on her property located at 11585 Highway 10. The staff had recommended approval subject to conditions. The Planning and Zoning Commission also recommended approval subject to conditions, and I'm here to answer any questions you may have about this.
Anyone have any questions? No questions, and then I look for a motion to approve this request for a conditional use permit for a massage therapy practice.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, you have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. Any other discussion? Roll call vote. Commissioner Arthod?
Aye.
Commissioner Zander?
Aye.
Commissioner Marsh?
Aye.
Commissioner Messer?
Aye.
And chair votes aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
Next.
The next public hearing was for a rezoning RZ 0921. Brian McCullum is requesting a rezoning from agriculture to rural residential on a parcel located, it has an address of 11060 47th Street Southwest. It's located in the southeast quarter of the northeast quarter of Section 34, Township 138, Range 96. Both the Planning and Zoning Commission and staff recommended approval, and I'm here to answer any questions you may have.
Any questions?
So this one's being split into two lots.
That's correct, Commissioner Messer. There's a companion minor subdivision plat that follows this. Yeah, they want to sell off. They want to sell off about, it's a little over 7 acres, and then with the part that has the house on it, and then keep the remainder.
I'm sorry, I just opened this one up. so
That's okay.
Thank you.
Any other questions? We'll look for a motion then to approve this rezoning from ag to rural residential for Brian McCullum.
I'll make that motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and second. Any other discussion? Roll call vote. Commissioner Arthod.
Aye.
Commissioner Zander.
Aye.
Commissioner Marsh.
Aye.
Commissioner Messer.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Motion carries.
Thank you. And the final one that was heard was a public hearing for minor subdivision plat MSP 0121. Brian McCullum requested a minor subdivision plat of the Brian McCullum subdivision located in the southeast quarter of the northwest quarter of section 34, Township 138, Range 96 West, containing approximately 27.25 acres. And as I stated before, the applicant wishes to split this up into two lots. One would be, I believe it's about 7.35 acres, maybe more, I'd have to look that up. And then the rest that they intend to sell off, that part would contain the existing house, and then they want to keep the 7.25 acres, and they want to keep the existing 20-acre lot for whatever plans in the future. This is going to be accessed by means of a private easement. There's already an instrument that's been recorded for that, to make sure that this property will not become landlocked. Both the Planning and Zoning Commission and staff recommended approval, and I'm here to answer any questions.
Mr. Josephson, they are just looking into recording it, or that easement. That has not been done yet, right?
Oh, it's already been.
Okay.
It's already been recorded, and it's already referenced on the plat.
And the water was too?
That's going to be a private agreement that the county doesn't get involved with.
Okay.
But if they want to get any building permits, they're going to need to show that they have water service.
Okay.
Any other questions?
I'll make that motion to approve.
Do you have a motion to approve? Do I have a second?
Second.
Second. Any discussion? Roll call vote then. Commissioner Arthod.
Aye.
Commissioner Zander.
Aye.
Commissioner Marsh.
Aye.
Commissioner Messer.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Motion carries.
Thank you. We will notify the applicants today
Okay.
of the board's decision. Thank you very much.
Anything else or?
No, that's it.
Okay.
And we're having a special meeting, right, Steve? Or that we're moving that meeting up for a public hearing, just so everybody knows. December,
It's a
December
it's a
21st.
scheduled
It was
meeting of the
already-
21st.
Yes,
not a
it's already
special.
been noticed. Or the notice will be in the paper tomorrow.
okay.
Yeah, that was a regularly scheduled meeting. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Next, we don't have the park board meeting, that we don't not have it, but I guess we have some discussion on the website, this county website design.
Good morning, Lisa Heiser, County Parks Director.
Morning.
And just looking at the website, this is our current website right here. This is our homepage. And you can see there's not even our logo on it. I've been here 4 years. We got the logo in 2018 and we still have not used it on our own site. So
Pretty picture though.
I know, it's crazy. You would think that we would. But a few things deter us from you being able to use that. And by virtue of our hosting, which is GovOffice, which is hosted by the state. And it is very good service. We get very, very good, adequate things to do on here. But our website is not very good. It's not user-friendly. And Joetta and I had met with a gentleman from GovOffice to just discuss what our options were, because we know that we have the very lowest minimum site that we could potentially have. And so we looked into a few of the options and met with him and just did a webinar, and he showed us a lot of options. And so with that, you have your sheet that is the red and green, and that is some of the costing. And so by virtue of some of the things that, and I just learned this too, of all the years I've been doing websites, I just learned that there is an ADA compliance factor in websites. And so what that does is that does the contrasts of colors for people that have visual impairments, some of the people that would be deaf, some of the softwares that they use to go through our websites, how they can function going through some of the forms that are on our website. Their software will actually speak to them. And so that's where we are really not in compliance right now. Most websites aren't, and that's something that's really coming forward in the future. And so we want to get to that. It will be mobile responsive. Ours is mobile responsive. It just doesn't look very good right now. It doesn't really identify that it's truly Stark County's website. So that's a little confusing. We're hoping to make things easier by virtue of some content boxes, some different design there, and then doing a different calendar upload. The problem we have right now, and most people are using the search box in the corner, because even us as county employees, commissioners, we can't find anything on our website because it's in multiple areas that don't make sense to you or me or any of that. And then when it's changed in one spot and it's located in two others, it's not getting updated in those other spots because it's just so confusing. So we want to be able to move forward and work on taking care of that and making it better for our community, easier for us to be able to inform the residents of the county and also of the state. So with that 3-year plan that you have in front of you here, it basically just says, you know, I'm going to recommend the premium responsiveness because that's the one that gets us. They will check automatically each year if we are in ADA compliance. And I think that's one of the largest things right now that we're out of compliance with. It gives us the most opportunities. I know I've talked to a few of you about the vision of a new website, having our own photos on there. Right now, we don't have the ability to do that. We'll be able to have 5 different photos to pick from, so different times of the year. I would love to see that all of you are on the steps of the courthouse and see that on our website. And so obviously that would be changed as we rotate in and out of commissioners, but to be able to see some winter ones and some of that I think is going to be very telling in some of the projects that we do have going on that we would be able to utilize. Not only that, but the function of our website, it is ARPA fund eligible, so we could use ARPA funds for this project just based on what he has told us through that. The forms, the piece that, if you look at the email, this is what he's kind of told us right now. We're paying $2,400 just for the hosting portion of it. So that would obviously go up a little bit on our end. We pay another $600 for 10 gigs of storage, and another $250 for Superforms. So Superforms is kind of the old version, SmartForms is the new version, and that SmartForms is where we're wanting to go to. Joetta has already moved the HR employment applications. They fill it out, they hit submit, and it goes right in. Instead of scanning and trying to email it to all of us, it goes to the proper entities right away by virtue of the way it's set up. And I think that would be very handy and very efficient for a lot of our departments to be able to use that. So right now we're paying for the Superforms and we use it literally for one form. So some of those costs will go away because now the SmartForms are included in the responsive design that I'm proposing that we go to. And so some of those things that you look at in virtue, we can go on a 3-year payment plan, we can pay it all in 1 year, but it will end up being $5,300 a year versus the $2,400 a year. But it will be a whole lot better. Most of the counties now have gone to a better plan than what we have. Ours is called the Budget Responsive Plan, and that's actually going up to $3,400 next year. So, any questions?
It's a 3-year plan and it's how much a year?
$5,300, and we can separate those if we want to make the payments. So this, if you look at the top line, this on the one that I'm proposing is the most expensive. The $8,700 is just the design, the initial design. That's not a recurring cost. That's a one-time cost for them to go in, take our content that's currently there, and try to figure out where it goes. They give us a couple different designs that we can look at. We can actually use it. Several of us can look at it and say it makes sense, it doesn't make sense, this doesn't work, this does work, and be able to do those couple of redesigns. The hosting, the maintenance, the security, and all of the support is the $7,200. And that spread over these 3 years. If you do the 1 year agreement, it's $87, but if you do it over the 3, it's $5,300 a year. Does that make sense, how they've laid it out in there?
So they're splitting up the 8,700 through 3 years?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, the 87, the one-time cost.
So, I mean, I would agree that we have a very tough site to navigate. I am all in on trying to improve that. I guess, having done it in our office, it's, here's the hurdles we always run into. Who's responsible for it? Who's responsible for the content? Who's responsible for the maintenance? And if Al comes in and he has something that he wants on the site, who's gonna put it in and who's gonna take it off? You know, I've got homes for sale from 2004 still on our website. So it's, you know, if you wanna be current, and so is this a committee you're proposing? Or
This, Joetta and I talked about that, and we need 3 people is kind of what we talked about. 3 people that are able to do it, technically advanced people that either have website, can jump in and do it, some people that are here. So we're looking at 3 administrators on this site to be able to utilize what we need.
But ultimately, you really need one person in charge though, don't you? I mean, because you have 3 people and then all of a sudden it gets kind of,
What we were
Separated.
thinking is that we would have 3 people, and each of those people would be designated to each of the department heads, so that I'm responsible to update, maybe for the commission, maybe the auditor, you know, those types of things, to be able to split the workload up so it's not just on one person. Most of it will be an annual review of some of that, but yes, you will have some of those, hey, can you hurry up and do it? And then if I don't have time, or she doesn't have time, or somebody else, they can just pass it to the next person, so, yeah.
yeah. And then I think it's kind of important, implied on us too, that make sure we get our department heads to get the information on there. If something's going on that needs to get on there, get it on there. So, no, I welcome proposal.
So I was looking at, you know, our options and everything, and actually, I actually have a recommendation for funding it, not through the ARPA or the 2020 COVID, but through some election money that we received, because this will actually help with the election forms and stuff like that too. Stark County received some COVID-related funding for elections in 2020, and we do have access to that funding, and that would cover the 3-year agreement and the 1-year payment, and we could actually just pay it all and then be covered for 3 years.
And that is one of the ease that we want to make, is the taxing and the voting as part of one of these icons that you'll just be able to see it and click on it, not have to go search. So that
Right,
is
we
one of
need it
the-
way more
very much so.
easily accessible. So that's where I would recommend that the funding come from. The funding is already there, and we could just, you know, take care of it for 3 years and not have to worry about that.
Well, and the fact that it isn't in compliance, we definitely have to do something to get it in compliance, and I agree with Lisa, it's very hard to maneuver around.
And the other thing too, just because I kind of skipped over it, on our meeting minutes. So right now, we upload our meeting minutes, but they're not indexed. And when I say indexed, if I want to search for COVID funds, it would bring up absolutely every meeting minute document that had COVID funds listed in there. Those types of things would save a lot of time, one, for our requests that we get on some of the information for public records. They could look on there if they chose to search those. It would be easier for you guys to look on it if you wanted to see something.
Well,
So-
we do have Archaea Search that's going to be coming in and putting all of our minutes online in our database. And then we can put the link on our Stark County website and you can literally search minutes from 100 years ago.
Perfect.
So
Yeah, that would fit very well in with this then.
that's what I was thinking.
Any other discussion? We want to make a motion and move forward with this, or?
So you're saying, Karen, we do have all the money, right?
Yes, it would be coming from the election COVID funding. And I have enough in there to pay the entire amount,
Okay.
The 15,900.
plus the 8,700.
Well,
Because the 8,700 is, you have to pay upfront to restructure the website, and then the 15,900 is for 3 years. So you need to combine both those, correct?
Correct, yes.
Yes.
okay. I would move that we allocate $24,600 out of COVID election 2020 funds towards the development and implementation of the website proposal.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
I'll second.
I have a second. Any discussion?
Go ahead, Bernie.
So we're just gonna pay the whole thing right up front, we're not gonna break it up into 3 payments, we're just paid the whole thing right? and
Right,
done with it.
and my clarification was I wanted a deadline, or what is the end date of this funding? Because we're through August or something, so would this take us through August of 24
No,
or 25?
so in the email that you have there, he actually spells out that we're to August of 2022 paid up. So they've actually put that in that 3-year to prorate us basically and give us credit for what we would start with now. We
It's gonna go up.
So we're covered through, with this, we would be covered through
Years.
August 2025?
Yes.
Okay, and then in August 2025, I would build it into the budget for the following year.
If any changes, yeah.
Any other discussion?
So that's where that 3,400 that with the prorating came in?
I believe, was it 34?
Yes, so 3,400 would be if we did the very minimal restructuring of the website. You're going with the one-time design fee of 8,700 to do the maximum we can with our website.
Okay.
And so it's 5,300 a year, so, but we would just be paying it up until August 2025, and then I would build it into the budget for the following year, which would
Okay.
probably be around that $5,000 mark, I would say.
Yeah, he didn't actually give us the prorated amount. He just said it was, he considered that and took it off of
Okay.
what the redesign was.
Okay.
Any other discussion? Roll call vote, Commissioner Messer,
Aye.
Commissioner Marsh.
Aye.
Commissioner Zander.
Aye.
Commissioner Arthod.
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion carried.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Next is Christmas holidays hours. Kim?
Good morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
Kim Cassian, County Recorder. I'm here today to talk to you about the Christmas holiday vacation time. As most of you know that this holiday, Christmas, falls on a Saturday. We are currently receiving Friday, Christmas Eve off, which we get paid for 8 hours. In the past years, we usually get 12 hours holiday pay for Christmas vacation, 8 hours vacation for Christmas Day, and 4 hours for Christmas Eve, with us getting off at noon. As you may be aware that the holiday policy states that as such, that we close at Christmas Eve at noon and we get Christmas Day off. This year is a little bit different with the Christmas holiday falling on a weekend. Nicole Roberts and I also reached out to other recorders and auditors in other counties to see what in North Dakota that their counties are doing for their holiday season. Out of the 41 responses that we received, 12 counties are receiving Thursday at noon and Friday off. 6 counties are receiving Thursday and Friday off. 2 counties are receiving Friday and Monday off, and 21 counties are also receiving just Christmas Eve, which is that Friday off. I'm here to ask on the behalf of us as employees of Stark County that you would possibly consider giving us Thursday off or Thursday at noon to extend our holiday vacation and giving us our normal 12-hour holiday pay. Any questions?
Questions or comment?
So you would still get your normal holiday pay, but of the 12 hours, that would include the Saturday, but yet you want Thursday off also?
Thursday off or Thursday at noon, we normally would get just the 8 hours. We kind of lose that 4 hours for the Christmas Eve, being it falls, the Christmas Day falls on that Saturday.
And in the past, sometimes you guys work till Christmas, on Christmas Eve till noon anyway, though, correct?
Until noon, yes,
Yes.
correct.
Any other comment?
This would be all county employees, not just the courthouse.
I would think so, yes.
I just think in the past, I mean, just from when I've been a commissioner, I mean, when it is during the week and stuff, we've always compensated, or if the 4th is on a Thursday, you know, then we think about Friday off. You know, it's just like, I just kind of think that that's kind of just the way it works this time. I just think it's Thursday and Friday is a lot of time to give off. Or all day Friday and all day Monday. Plus 12 hours of vacation time.
Yeah,
Is
but
my opinion.
really, what are they gonna be doing on Thursday? They're gonna come in till noon or whatever and,
Well, I guess I look at it potentially, if we're looking at the 12 hours, then the 12 hours would fall till noon on Thursday. I could live with that. Now, how much work gets done on the Thursday morning, I don't know, but, you know, you never know. Somebody may need some services, but that's kind of where I'm leaning.
Well, you gotta ask yourself then, because courthouse shuts down on Friday at noon every week. So how much work is getting done on Fridays?
Good point.
I get a lot done on Fridays. Yeah, I get a lot done on Fridays too. That's like my stress day. But I just thought I would bring it to you guys as a lot of employees were questioning it as well. So just for you guys to consider, if you would.
Any other comment or question?
Pardon me?
Any other comments or questions?
So the request is Thursday at noon and Friday.
Friday's automatic, or we're
Yeah.
already getting Friday, but
Yeah.
Thursday at noon would be ideal. But like I said, it's
You
up to
know,
you
I'll
guys
make
to
a
consider
motion to approve the request.
for Thursday at noon.
I'll second that.
So is
The-
this
the-
for-
The motion is for half a day on Thursday, is that the motion?
Okay.
Okay. The motion and a second, any other discussion? Roll call vote, Commissioner Zander.
Aye.
Commissioner Marsh.
Aye.
Commissioner Arthod.
No.
Commissioner Messer.
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you, commissioners.
Next, we'll go to the Wheat Board redistricting. We got State's Attorney Engelstad.
I'm not sure why I was put on the, the agenda for this, but the weed board was voted to be at large for, I think, a certain amount of time, and then to revisit it about looking at redistricting it, and I've had some questions about where we're at with that. So I guess the commission's gonna have to make a decision at this point, whether they wanna keep it at large, or they want to reinstate the districts.
Any other discussion on that?
It was brought up at the weed board meeting and it just never was brought forward to the commission to make the final decision.
Right, I think that's right. And then I sat in on that meeting and they did take a vote to recommend to the commission that they would like it to be district. But
Yes, it was a tie vote up to the it was half and half up to the chair. And then,
When we discussed this July, August, I didn't have privilege of the map, the current, or the districts that were in force at that point. And since then, having gone out and gotten the map, we're pretty geographical balance. I would like us to stay district orientated. I know the discussion previously was because there was a opening on the South Central District, and there was nobody had applied to fill that position. It's my understanding that there is some interest in that now. So I guess I would like to see us remain the districts, and I guess by statute, we'd have to open up that district for applications again.
Correct.
So I'll move that we remain the districts as currently boundaried, if you want to call it that.
I don't think you'd remain.
Second.
I think you would reestablish because those were, you voted to put them at large at that last meeting, so.
For only a certain period of time, though. We said November.
That I guess I don't have the minutes in
That's
front
fine.
of me, so.
I'll make the motion to reestablish the districts as previously.
Second.
Do you have a motion? I have a second. Any other discussion?
this doesn't change anything with the redistrict of the 5. Okay.
Any other discussion? Roll call vote, Commissioner Messer.
Aye.
Commissioner Zander.
Aye.
Commissioner Marsh.
Aye.
Commissioner Arthod.
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion carries. Next we go to Stark County delinquent properties offered to the cities. Auditor Karen Richard.
I was just going to update the commission on, I did send out letters to all the small cities and Dickinson on the delinquent properties that were available to them. I offered them to the small cities for $1. And then, because we would ideally like the small cities to take back those properties, so they are responsible for them. The only small city I really heard anything from yet is Richardson. And we actually sold the property in Richardson that we tore down the house for $9,000. And so that property is no longer for sale. And we also sold the property in Leffer for $500. So we're just kind of waiting to hear back from the small cities or Dickinson if they want any of those other properties. And obviously the process has changed for tax sales. And we will have to establish an account to hold that money in there for 90 days for the claims process. But we were able to, it cost $18,000 to tear down that house for the county in Richardson. So we were able to recoup that out of the $9,000 sale.
Partially.
Well, half of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think we as a commission should authorize any individual lot being offered to a small city for $1 before we do that, because you could have potentially done it that way with the Richardson lot, for example, sold it for $1 and then they turn around and sell it for $9,000. Then we would have had the $18,000 liability with no opportunity for offset. So that would be my position, is that we, you know, if we're going to do that, if we have no extended exposure, you know, let's get it, I agree, get it back in the tax rolls, whatever it is. But I think we as a commission should do those, whether it's individually, collectively, or however that's done. So just my input.
To establish the price?
No, not to establish the price. You said you sent out a letter to offer lots,
The unsold properties from.
right, for the $1. We've never authorized that as a commission. So I think it's probably prudent upon us to authorize those sales. So.
I agree.
Any other discussion?
And when does this out? Is there a deadline on this?
To hear back from them?
Yeah.
I asked that they try to let us know by the end of the year for when we do our rollover.
Okay.
But I did find out from some other sources that, you know, previously they had removed abated out the taxes on those properties. And as far as I know, you're actually not supposed to do that. And you're supposed to keep those taxes on those properties for the county, because we can't abate those out, as far as I know, and we need to talk to the state's attorney. That's what the North Dakota Association of Counties recommendation was, not to abate those.
So once you abate them and you sell them, and any proceeds have to be split between the county and the state treasurer or the state auditor. Whereas if we wouldn't have abated them, we could have used 100% of those funds to offset expenses, including taxes and arrears and those kind of things.
Correct. So by us abating out all those previous years, it probably didn't really affect much until this year when they changed the legislative side on that. But by the county abating out those, for example, those properties that are over a year old, we can't put that down on the form for being able to collect any of that money. And it's going to go back to the state if nobody has a claim to it.
So that legislation needs to be changed. I think that's overreach by, I don't know how that got there or what it was part of, but if we're sitting there having these ongoing expenses and we abate the taxes, and the only thing that is abated is the taxes, and then we got to send, once we do market it, the funds are sent to the state. That's a bad.
If
bad
we
piece of
hadn't
business.
abated the taxes, we could have put that.
Okay.
So
So
can
that's
take
on
that.
us, not the state.
Yes, that part is on us.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Any other discussion? I guess that was for your information. There's no further action needed to be taken on that. Next, we move on to the 2022 beer and liquor license renewals.
When I sent out your beer and liquor license renewals list, I hadn't yet got everybody's in, but as of yesterday, I have received all of the applications, and the only payment I'm waiting on in the mail is from St. Pius. But all the other ones have paid the amounts that are shown on there. And I'm just looking for a motion to approve the current liquor licenses renewals for 2022.
Don't we?
Mr. Chairman, are you looking for one motion to approve all or individually? Can we do it, Amanda?
I think you can do it all in there. I think you can do it all in one if you want to on this one.
As long as we list them then, or?
Well, I'll make a motion, and my motion would include all the applicants: Assumption Abbey, County Line, August House, Fluffy Fields, Green 19, Leffer, St. Pius, and Wicks Barn and Lodge.
Okay, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
A second. Any discussion?
Did we not in the past, I might not, maybe in the past, didn't we waive St. Pius's liquor license for some reason?
I think we reduced it. I don't think we waived it.
I don't think you can waive it under the statute. The lowest amount is $50.
So I think didn't we put St. Pius at the lowest amount?
It is, yeah.
Yeah, because their events and their usage is very limited.
Yep.
And, that brings up the Abbey, and, theirs is $50.
So
I think this whole thing should be re-looked at. What do you pay for a liquor license downtown? Three what? Yeah.
I was discussing things with Ms. Engelstad, and she said that she was actually looking into it this coming year on maybe coming together with an overall better liquor license beer policy, because we don't really have a very clear one in place.
It was something on my list of things to do for this year, and it's other things have taken priority, but I think it would be appropriate for the county to adopt some sort of liquor license fee scheduling.
I would volunteer to offer Bernie's services for
Yep.
your,
Well, and I think if you do it on like a gross alcohol revenue, if you fall into this slot, your renewal is at that or something, because some of these are not 24/7, but some of these are open 7 days a week. Some of them are just special occasions, and we're charging $500 or whatever. So some
Who's gonna do
equity,
the
some
auditing
equity
on
would
that?
ever work. Be fine.
who's gonna do the auditing on that?
Well, I don't know.
I would be happy to look at their bottom lines and,
Yeah.
and tell you where they're at.
I think Bernie would be an expert on this.
Get volunteer, right?
So do we want to lower St. Pius's here to 50?
I think we should, they already pay, or paying it already.
The check
so-
is already in the
yeah.
mail for
Oh,
that
it is.
amount.
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Okay, any other discussion? Roll call vote then. Commissioner Zander.
Aye.
Commissioner Messer.
Aye.
Commissioner Marsh. Commissioner Arthod.
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion carried. Next, we have the Stark County Commission meeting dates for next year for 2022. We need to approve those dates, or if there's any changes in that?
I just went with the kind of the current setup that we have now, which is the first Tuesday of the month. And I left it at 9 a.m. and I just did up the sheet just to see where your guys' discussion is on those meeting dates and what your thought is.
Thank you.
You need, I'm just for discussion, I'll make a motion to approve the calendar for 2022 commission meeting.
I'll second.
Give a motion a second, another discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Yeah, discussion.
You'll notice that there is no dates reserved for special meetings.
That always comes in the effect after.
I know.
Yeah,
Okay.
these are the ones that we're gonna publish
We
though.
only had about 20 special.
Okay, no one's opposed, I take it.
So on the July 5th, we could decide that one when we get closer on that one, if something would come up?
You can, yes.
Yes,
Subject to change it.
I just have to notice.
Okay.
Okay, and you have, excuse me, the courthouse RFP for engineering for Commissioner Master, you have that?
Yeah, real quickly, so any of us who have been going through the county in the past, I don't know if you voted
Yeah,
on
I
a
said
date.
all in favor, aye. Very good. Missed it?
So anyway, we have some issues with our heating system. And I'll ask Mike to come up to the podium, but we're kind of Band-Aiding this thing. Some of it's been neglected. We've had a number of leaks through the pressured steam system. And we need to probably take a good serious look at what to do. And in order to do that, we would need to advertise for a engineering proposal that would kind of take a deep dive into the mechanics of that, and we can kind of do that step at a time. So Mike, if you want to add anything to it.
No, it's just time. Most of you have seen, and condensate line in the basement is pretty much all shot. We've been patching all winter so far, and it's early. I usually don't have anything till spring, so we're already up to 10 leaks on that condensate line. A lot of walls knocked out down in the basement. So we need to look at doing something. A36, some of those pipes are original.
So you end up knocking out pretty much full walls on that side?
No, just the floor, 2
Just
feet
the
up.
floor?
Yep, 2 feet up. We've
But
been
yeah.
cutting and sledgehammering it out. So that was last week. Did a lot of that in the week before, and then a few months before that. So yeah, it's
So do we just get bids out and get it fixed? Instead of Band-Aiding it
Well,
over and over and over?
That's what we would like to see, but since it is going to be a project of quite extensive, depending on what we elect to do, formally or correctly, we have to advertise for the engineering proposal first, and then take that in and then advertise for proposals to whatever we decide to do. I certainly wouldn't want to Band-Aid them, but there's other options. You know, you could surface mount stuff, or you can just go deep in and rip everything out and put in all new lines. I mean, we've met a couple times with one of the engineers, and it's
we did hire an engineer to do a rough estimate of what we could do. And Neil and I met with him and we discussed. So it's time to kind of take
I
this to
think
a
we
step
should just
further.
wait until you get some proposals and then, because the way I see this is probably a 3 or 4 phase project that could go on for 2 years.
Definitely gonna be a
And
big
it's gonna
project.
be, you might as well say it, it's gonna be expensive. It's gonna be
gonna be.
$1 million.
Yeah, Commissioner Zander, I think that they're just looking to, because you have to advertise for an engineer to do the
Oh,
proposal.
I
so-
understand.
Yeah.
I know, I'm
No, no,
just
you're right.
stating an opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. We are gonna fix what's leaking. I've got a plumber coming in, so we can get what I've got exposed, completely replaced. We have to even make it to the point where, what we're talking about. So there will be some expense on repair of what we've got.
The request for the proposal costs us nothing. It's advertising and soliciting a proposal. It's after that when the real dollars and hard dollars take place.
Okay.
Look for a motion then to put an RFP out then, yes, right?
Yep, I would move that we solicit and advertise for RFP for a engineer on the heating system for the courthouse.
Second.
A motion, a second. Any other discussion?
So then who's I'm gonna be on that with the RFP to look it over? That's who's,
I don't know,
Form a committee,
we could.
I believe we should.
probably Neil. Somebody else wanna volunteer?
In all likelihood, this is going to be a 2023 project, because even if we bid it, sounds like we're not going to get on the schedule for 2022. So we're going to have to get through this for another 12 to 14 months.
So did we ask them or to do, when they do their RFP, to give a, so when they do their RFP, are we gonna ask them to include some sort of a inflation
Contingency.
contingency or something like that?
Absolutely.
I'm assuming that they're prepared for that, yeah. Give us some budgetary, and that's what we're looking for now, is some budgetary numbers so that we can come back and decide what avenue we want to actually go formally bid, so.
Any other discussion? Okay. Not roll call vote, Commissioner Messer,
Aye.
Commissioner Zander, Commissioner Marsh,
Aye.
Commissioner Arthod.
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion carried. And the last item I added was the Belfield and Billings County ambulance. We'll probably be discussing that. They're asking for money, so we'll just discuss that on the 14th in a special meeting minute. And the other,
Did we
Anything
have,
else?
did we give them so much every year? We just missed that this year, or what, how did that, cause didn't,
This is what we went and visited with them.
yep.
And then they didn't come back to us on it, and now they've come to an agreement that they probably would like to work with us on this.
Okay. Okay.
anything else we need to discuss? Anybody from the public have any comment? Anything from the public? Okay, if not, I'll look for a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion is second, all in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carried. Thank you.